line. Can you believe that today is the last day that we are going to talk about the 10 Commandments? I can't believe it's been 10 weeks. I'm so excited to get into the new stories that I have planned for you. But before we get into it, I think we need a warm up because it's been a bit cold this week. So let's warm up, let's get excited, and let's boogie!
It's the 10 Commandment boogie, gonna dance until I die. The 10 Commandment boogie, you can do it, so can I. If you follow it through, you'll be amazed what you can do. So get your groove on with us tonight. We'll do the 10 Commandment boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie. Number one, no other God but the one who is true. Don't worship any other, that's Commandment 2. Number 3, use the name of God only with respect. On Sunday, take a rest. We're halfway through with one that's just for you. Listen to your mom and dad, 'cause what they say you gotta do. It's the 10 Commandment boogie, gonna dance until I die. The 10 Commandment boogie, you can do it, so can I. If you follow it through, you'll be amazed what you can do. So get your groove on with us tonight. We'll do the 10 Commandment boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie. Number 6, don't ever take somebody's life. 7 feels like heaven, but only with your husband or wife. Number 8 is great along with number 9. Don't steal from others and don't ever lie. And if your friend has something that you think is cool, don't ever wish that it was yours. And that's the final rule in the 10 Commandment boogie, gonna dance until I die. 10 Commandment boogie, you can do it, so can I. If you follow it through, you'll be amazed what you can do. So get your groove on with us tonight. We'll do the 10 Commandment boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie, do the boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie, do the boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie. It's the boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie. Some people say that I'm old-fashioned for believing in God's rules. They're just fools. The Bible, yeah, that's the book for me, and it's full of unbelievable truths. Just like a 10 Commandment boogie, gonna dance until I die. 10 Commandment boogie, you can do it, so can I. If you follow it through, you'll be amazed what you can do. So get your groove on with us tonight. We'll do the 10 Commandment, the 10 Commandment boogie, gonna dance until I die. 10 Commandment boogie, you can do it, so can I. If you follow it through, you'll be amazed what you can do. So get your groove on with us tonight. We'll do the 10 Commandment boogie, the boogie, the 10 Commandment boogie.
today's lesson. Today we are talking all about the 10th commandment. And the 10th commandment talks about how we should not be jealous or envious of other people and their things. What does it mean to be jealous or envious? I read that it means that we should not want what other people have. We should be grateful for what we have. And when we want what other people have, it becomes all we can think about. Like, for example, my friend Jenna had this amazing toy. It was so big, it was a nice big red truck. And I loved it so much. I thought it was awesome. And I wanted one so bad that I became mean because all I wanted to do was play with her toy. And I learned that we should not want other people's things. We should be happy with what we have. Because when you're jealous, you don't always have the nicest attitude. We're going to listen today to a story by Saul and David. And Saul was so jealous of David that he became nasty and mean. And we're going to see how David reacted towards this. So listen up.
David was a shepherd who lived in Israel. David was chosen by God to be the next king of Israel when he was just a boy. But David had to wait a very long time until that promise would come true because there was another king of Israel named Saul. Saul was strong and tall and looked like everything a king should be. But Saul did not follow God like he was supposed to. And for that reason, God chose to take the kingdom from Saul's family and give it to David's. David became a great warrior. And everyone in the kingdom loved David. This made Saul jealous, and Saul hated David because he thought he would try to kill him and take the throne from his family. So Saul wanted to kill David. Whoa! Saul hunted David, but he couldn't catch him. One day, Saul heard that David was in the wilderness of En-Gedi. So Saul gathered 3,000 of his skilled fighters and went to find and kill David. During Saul's search for David, he went in a cave to relieve himself. Well, this very cave was the one where David and his men were hiding. And when David's men saw that Saul was unaware that David was there and unable to defend himself, they said, "Now's your chance, David. This is God telling you that he will give you your enemy to do with as you wish." So David crept forward and cut off a piece of Saul's robe. But then David began to think that it was not right for him to take Saul's life. For no matter how much hardship and difficulty Saul had caused him, it was still not right for him to hurt the one who God had placed over Israel. So David told his men to back off, and he did not let them kill King Saul. They waited until after Saul had left the cave. And then David ran out of the cave and shouted after Saul, "My king! Why do you listen to people who say I am trying to harm you? Look, I cut it off, but I didn't kill you. This proves that I am not trying to harm you and that I have not sinned against you, even though you've been hunting me." David went on to promise that he would never harm Saul. David said that God would be the one to protect David and to rescue him from Saul's power. Saul said, "Is that really you, David?" And he began to cry. Saul said, "You are a better man than I. You have been amazingly kind to me today, for when God put me in a place where you could have killed me, you didn't do it. Who else would have done this? And now I realize that you are surely going to be king, and the kingdom of Israel will flourish under your rule. But promise me that when that happens, you will not kill my family." So David promised that he would not hurt Saul's family, and they left each other in peace. Now Saul continued to cause difficulty in David's life. But David kept his promise, and in time, David did become king of Israel. David was dearly loved by God, and Israel did flourish under his rule because David did everything that God wanted him to do, and he was a man after God's own heart.
Wow, did you see in the story how mean Saul was to David? He wanted what David had and he wasn't so nice. And that is what happens when we become jealous or envious. We aren't the nicest and we become mean and upset and sad. And it's not a nice feeling. What we should be is grateful and thankful for what we do have. What toys we have, what school we go to, what clothes we have, our roof over our heads. We can be grateful because we are blessed. I hope you guys know how awesome you all are and how great you have been during this whole 10 Commandments series. And we are going to start a new series, and it is called The Stories of Jesus. And I'm going to share with you guys some really awesome stories of Jesus, and I can't wait to show you. But before we get into that, we're going to head into our craft video. So get your glue ready and your pencil, and let's have some craft fun. For today's craft video, we are going to do a collage. A collage is when you take a bunch of colors or pictures and paste them all over one another so that there's no spaces open. And we're going to do a collage today of what Saul's coat looked like when David cut it off. This is what it looks like. This is what I think all the colors on his coat looked like. So there's some red, some green, a little bit yellow, and some orange. Let's get crafting. So what you're going to need for today's craft is a piece of blank paper, some cutouts of colored paper in random shapes, a pen, and some glue. And what I wrote on it is David cut off a piece of Saul's robe. I'm going to write that down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to paste these papers all in different patterns until there is no pink left. And there's our collage of Saul's coat. I love colorful clothing, and I can just imagine that his coats might have been colorful. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Kids Connect Online, and I can't wait to see you next week for our awesome new series. I'm so excited. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I love you. Bye.